There's a flash drive that was sent out for 5 institutions, 3 banks and 2 redemption centers in one case, and those were installed on laptops, and they're using laptops in the redemption centers and the bank. It's a release activation mechanism. Like a release activation code key, they are designed to receive a signal in some form of protocol, let's call it timeline activated, through the Starlink satellite system, so it would be wirelessly activated through Starlink to activate with the codes that are installed to begin what it is we're waiting for. 2 resources, last night, 2 more today are saying that we will start this weekend. Just because you see all the evidence that the monetary reform is already here, it doesn't mean that it has to be given to them right now. If you have 95% of the skeleton, that's a lot of information. You can tell if it's a man or a woman, how high they're going to be. You can tell a lot. That's why you can tell a lot about the monetary reform right now, because it's 95% completed. What's the 5%? That's what they're doing right now. Informed sources rule out submitting final accounts of the 2024 budget to Parliament. This is one of those confusing articles I was talking about. They have already done 3 readings on the 2024 budget and we are waiting for it to be in the Gazette, or they could publish a special Gazette, which is something they sometimes do. We hope the HCL will be in tomorrow's Gazette. But mixed reports coming out of Iraq. Some say it passed, some say it hasn't. Turkey seeks to increase trade volume with Iraq to $30 billion annually. I have a lady friend who is a trauma surgeon in Iraq that is employed by the WHO and works as an adjunct with the military. I just spoke with her and she told me there are no lower denomination notes being used. I asked her to ask around the hospital about lower denomination notes. She emailed me back and said she spoke with the admin, and they said there are no lower denomination notes. Hydrocarbon law, I've been talking about this forever. What does the hydrocarbon law have to do with the exchange rate? Other gurus are not being very specific. They don't tell you how it's connected at all. Does the Iraqi hydrocarbon law pay money directly to the Iraqi citizens? The money goes into different funds, designed to ensure each Iraq citizens residing in the country receives an equal share of Iraqi revenues. Iraqi citizens do not receive direct payments from the Iraqi hydrocarbon law. Instead, they may benefit indirectly through various funds. They're not directly going to get paid. Shabibi kept saying, give me safe and stable and I'll give you a revaluation. Iraq is becoming the most stable country in the Middle East. The fiscal year of government banks in Iraq ends the end of December each year, where some financial operations are temporarily suspended to conduct annual settlements and close accounts. Those that think Iraq is on a different system and different time frames for their end of year, those that were saying April or March, are wrong. Fiscal year of the government bank ends at the end of December each year. There used to be a dinar dealer who used to send a little rectangular piece of paper in it and it said certificate of authenticity. That's a bunch of crap. You're not going to go to a bank and say, here's my dinar. And the bank is not going to say, let me see your certificate of authenticity. No. The bank is going to say, we're going to tell you if this currency is real or not. We heard this from one of our Iraqi sources, that President Trump called President Saddam of Iraq, and congratulated him on the completion of the financial reform in Iraq. Financial reforms included the old HCL, the hydrocarbon law, the oil and gas law, because citizens of Iraq are getting a percentage of the profits of oil exploration throughout Iraq. My understanding is that now they're settling up and paying out citizens on the oil and gas law, the HCL hydrocarbon law, and they're paying in newly revalued dinar. With documents, test of the draft amendment for the budget law. The second reading is done and we are waiting on the third reading to have their budget. We hear the third reading may be on Saturday. The rumors in Iraq are along with that third reading they will announce the HCL. I am told there is a good chance it could be published in this Saturday's Gazette. I heard that from a couple folks who believe that is going to be our go. We may be in for a crazy few days, everyone. Member of the Parliamentary Finance Committee, Moeen Al-Khatimi, revealed today, Friday, the reasons for removing the budget paragraph from the agenda of yesterday's Parliament session. Al-Khatimi told Al-Maluma Agency, the budget amendment relates to Article 12(c), which concerns the resumption of oil exports from the Kurdistan region. He added that oil exports are being done through SOMO at a rate of 400,000 barrels of oil per day, noting that the budget paragraph was raised due to the failure to complete the Finance Committee's report on the budget. He added, the absence of the Minister of Finance and the senior staff to discuss the budget amendment, stressing that there are many observations that may be raised by the honourable representatives regarding the amendment of Article 12. Member of the Unified Anbar Alliance, Mohammed Al-Fardawi, confirmed on Friday that the heads of the political blocs agreed not to pass the ministerial changes in al-Sudani's cabinet, noting that the issue is purely political and far from the House of Representatives. Al-Fardawi told Al-Maluma, the file of ministerial changes announced by Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani in the past period is related exclusively to the heads of the political blocs and not to the House of Representatives. He added, the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the members of the House will not be able to impose their word or decide the issue of ministerial amendments, as the issue is decided politically between the leaders and heads of the blocs. He explained that the heads of the blocs agreed more than a week ago not to settle the issue of the ministerial reshuffle, despite the fact that change is natural for any minister who fails in his duties, but there is an emphasis on keeping all ministers in power. An economic expert revealed the reason behind Iraq's import of large quantities of gold. Mana al-Obeidi said in a statement received by Euphrates News, that according to data on exports from countries, specifically the UAE, which has become the largest exporter to Iraq in terms of value, we find that more than 42% of the UAE's exports to Iraq are gold. He explained that the main reason for importing these quantities is due to its use as an alternative to the dollar in trade exchange with some countries that are prohibited from dealing with banks, and as a result of the lack of cash dollars in the markets, it is replaced by importing gold from outside Iraq, and then trade is carried out using this metal. He pointed out that the expected value of gold from the UAE until the end of 2024 will be between $12 to $18 billion, in addition to mobile phones. The volume of their exports from the UAE alone ranges between $6 to $8 billion. Al-Obeidi continued, there are approximately $20 to $24 billion in goods that are imported, which are not used for local consumption, but are reused in foreign trade exchanges.